Sadhana is a Sanskrit word for practice, for spiritual practice. And I've been spending a good amount of time this weekend exploring this meditation. I felt as if it's been really important for me personally, but also for the world to cultivate this sense of healing through compassion and wisdom, which are kind of the two prongs of our practice and the fruits of our practice in Buddhism. And if you have practiced this before, if you don't mind, just sort of wave your hand for a moment. If you know of Medicine Buddha, so a couple of you. And Medicine Buddha in the Tibetan Buddhist tradition is a very important figure. I'm going to share the screen a picture of what typically he looks like. Let's see. Let's first get him up here. So this is an image fairly typical of Medicine Buddha. Some of you who have heard our music know that we play this song in our band, Medicine Buddha Mantra. And sort of an homage to this quality that we all have within us for boundless healing through love and compassion and through wisdom. And so you can see here this image of Medicine Buddha. He's always blue. He has this deep sort of light cobalt blue color. This is a color that is often reflective of healing in Buddhism as well as non-duality. So this color is also a quality of non-duality, often in the imagery. And in its non-dual state, often it's a darker color. You see him in his hand, he's holding a fruit in something called a balan fruit, which is something you find in South Asia. And it's a symbol of healing. He has herbs next to him, and his hand is touching the earth. It's sort of in a gesture of touching the earth, which we read last week with Thich Nhat Hanh's reading Touching the Earth, poem from last week. And then there are these brilliant crystal white rays coming from him, emanating out in all directions. Medicine Buddha is this being, or this deity rather, that is shining with this sort of very crystal, almost translucent light that carries his power to heal through love, through compassion, through boundless compassion. So if you hold that image in your mind for a moment, you can sort of picture the Medicine Buddha. And we're going to do the sadhana. And it's not essential that Medicine Buddha, when you visualize Medicine Buddha, that he actually appears in this way. Because you may belong to a different tradition where there may be a figure that is representative of the same kind of healing properties. The Buddha was said to have healing powers that through his touch. And this is also common to Christianity. The view of Jesus is also supposedly having this same power. And many figures in various sort of revelatory traditions have this quality as well. So I've showed you a picture of Medicine Buddha, but I invite you to bring to mind whomever this might represent, these qualities of healing might represent in your tradition, to practice with that. If you kind of are saying, well, I'm not a Buddhist, I'm not really sure that I want to work with this quality or with this image, it may also just be that you visualize this sort of white light in front of you. And if that represents this boundless quality of healing and purification, then so be it. Then that's fine too. The key is that it resonates with you. That's what works. Whatever it is that engages your own capacity to receive these qualities, and ultimately the Medicine Buddha. And I would gather that any deity or being that we work with is also seeking to awaken those qualities that we hold within ourselves. That it's not just us sort of taking, but certainly in Buddhism anyway, this is the lesson. So we may visualize medicine Buddha as a representation of that healing quality that we hold within ourselves. And ultimately, in the practice, what we do is we dissolve that being into white light and then dissolve that white light into ourselves. We become the medicine Buddha. We take on those characteristics. We abide in such a way that we are shining and we are radiating the qualities of boundless healing through wisdom and compassion. And so this is common to Tantric Buddhism, to what we call Vajrayana. The Vajrayana is a school in Mahayana Buddhism that's practiced mostly in Tibet and China. And the traditions I've trained in Vajrayana, largely Tibetan Buddhist. So um, the idea here is that when we cultivate these qualities, we're actually awakening qualities within us that we already carry. So occasionally somebody will say, well, I was part of a religious tradition that I just couldn't get behind, and in some cases it was kind of harmful in some way, or it felt harmful, and I'm not comfortable meditating on something outside of me, and the doubting mind comes in, and so on and so forth. And one of the things that I've been experiencing this weekend profoundly is almost a message that it's important for all of us to recognize that when we practice, we are not sitting by ourselves. We are not alone in our practice. We are not sort of localized beings unto ourselves, separate from everything else. All these traditions that I know of teach us that we are deeply, deeply interconnected with that which we cannot see, with that which is around us. Maybe we even go so far as to say we are held and interconnected with the divine, whatever that means to us. And so this is kind of a reminder that when we practice, that we're not just sitting all alone in the space of our own space, but that that space is also filled um, with that what Thich Nhat Hanh calls interbeing, with whatever is there beyond us, right? And so for me, in my practice, what I've been doing is inviting all the Buddhas and Bodhisattvas and saints and angels and spirit guides and divine beings that are there to help us, and say, I invite you into my space without request or need for anything, with an offering of incense and gratitude, and just abiding in this earthly refuge that is the space in which I am practicing. And I've been saying this over and over in my practice. It has been so important. And to get beyond this sort of analytical, intellectual mind, to be able just to receive. And when we're open to do this, it's incredible what experiences arise spontaneously without effort. Yeah? So we can talk offline or after 8 o'clock. If some of you have thoughts about this, we can talk about it more. And I realize we're all sort of coming from slightly different places. But this is more of an invitation to you all, just to consider as you're sitting that you are held by something greater than you, and that you are occupying or co-inhabiting a space with whatever the divine means to you in your presence, especially when you invite and you call, you receive, and so on and so forth. When your heart is in the right place and it's wide open, and not needing to ask for anything, just to abide together. You know?